And joining me now is the House Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries of New York. Leader Jeffries, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Nerd
it's great to have you here. Let's start on the government shutdown, now the longest in U.S. history. Leader Jeffries, do you believe that your colleagues in the Senate are close to reaching a deal and ending this shutdown?
Never.
Well, we need to end the Trump Republican shutdown. The longest shutdown, of course, in American history. And as Democrats, we've repeatedly maintained that we will sit down anytime, any place with anyone in order to reopen the government, to find a bipartisan path forward to enacting a spending agreement that actually meets the needs of the American people, which means trying to drive down the high cost of living, because America under Donald Trump and Republican policies has become far too expensive, while at the same time dealing with the Republican healthcare crisis that threatens to drive up premiums, copays, and deductibles.
I don't know how old y'all are, the people that listen here, but I remember when they passed Obamacare, the Republicans said, when it was passed, that in 10 years, which is now, exactly what is happening right now would happen. The Republicans told them when they passed it, in 10 years, this will be unaffordable, unsustainable. Exactly what they said that would happen would happen. This health care is called Obamacare, and it's all on Obama and the Democrats. The problems with the health care is completely Obama and the Democrats.
Levels that will be unaffordable for working class
It's
Americans
your fault.
because of the Republican refusal to
Obamacare.
extend the Affordable Care Act
It's
tax
called
credits.
Obamacare.
Well, Leader Jeffries, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer did make a new offer, effectively saying, let's extend Obamacare subsidies for 1 year in exchange for reopening the government for 1 year.
How about no?
You have said that you would support that proposal, but just last month you said this. Take a look.
A 1 year extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits is not acceptable. It's a non-starter. It's a non-starter.
So, Leader Jeffries, what changed?
Pressure.
Well, the proposal that I was making reference to in October was something that was floated out there by a handful of rank-and-file House Republicans, and that was immediately rejected by House Republican leadership because they have no interest in driving down the high cost of living for everyday Americans. The Schumer proposal, of course, was offered in good faith. It's both a 1 year extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits. Now we're already in the middle of the open enrollment period. Tens of millions of people are on the brink of facing dramatically increased health care costs.
Because of Obamacare.
In some cases could be $1,000 or $2,000 per month. That is unaffordable for middle-class Americans, working-class Americans, and everyday Americans. And the Schumer proposal also provides a path toward bipartisan negotiations for a multi-year extension, which will provide the type of certainty that the American people need.
Well, as you know, Republican leader John Thune has called it a non-starter. Let me ask you, would you support a bill that would include a promise to vote on extending Obamacare subsidies? Is that something you could live with?
Let's understand that these Republicans have tried to repeal the Affordable Care Act more than 70 different times over the last 15 years. They're not acting in good faith as it relates to dealing with a health care crisis that they're visiting on the American people. This is the same group of folks who just enacted the largest cut to Medicaid in American history as part of their one big ugly bill. Hospitals and nursing homes and community-based health centers are closing all across the country, including in rural America, because of Republican policies. We're faced with the possibility of a $536 billion cut to Medicare at the end of this year if Congress doesn't act, connected to what they did in the one big ugly bill. And now they're refusing to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits for even a year when they just enacted massive permanent tax breaks for their billionaire donors. Does that seem reasonable? Is that the type of policy that the American people are screaming out for, as evidenced by what just happened with Republicans being wiped out in the general election last Tuesday?
Leader Jeffries, just very quickly, yes or no, do you rule out supporting a bill that would include a promise to vote on Obamacare subsidies? Yes or no?
I don't think that the House Democratic Caucus is prepared to support a promise a wing and a prayer from folks who have been devastating the health care of the American people for years.
All right, let's talk about the impacts. You mentioned them of this government shutdown. They're being felt across the country. Hundreds of flights, as you know, have been canceled this weekend across major airports. The lines are growing longer outside of food banks.
They don't care.
And there's a lot of uncertainty
They could care
about
less.
food assistance programs.
You're leverage.
Which currently
American people are
hang
leverage.
in the balance
Just
right
leverage.
now, in limbo, Leader Jeffries. Is it responsible for Democrats to continue to push for a better deal and to not reopen the government, given that people are suffering right now?
They could care less. You're just leverage.
Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Donald Trump, from the very beginning of his term, has taken a my way or the highway approach. That's not reasonable. It's not reasonable for Donald Trump to withhold intentionally SNAP benefits from 42 million Americans, including more than 1 million veterans who are at risk of going hungry a few days from us honoring the veterans of this country
Then vote on
who
the
have
bill.
sacrificed with their bravery and their courage. It's not reasonable
Open the
for
government.
Republicans to devastate the health care of the American people, to find $40 billion, as they did a few weeks ago, to bail out their right-wing dictator friend in Argentina, but can't find a dime to make health care affordable for the American people. Listen, as Democrats, we want to find a bipartisan path forward.
Yeah,
we want to
sure you
reopen
do.
the government. We're
Open
also
it then.
fighting to drive down the high cost of living. Donald Trump promised to lower costs on day one. Costs aren't going down. Costs are going up. Housing costs through the roof. Grocery
My costs have
through the
gone
roof.
down.
Electricity bills are skyrocketing. And now we're on the brink of health care insurance premiums dramatically increasing.
It's
devastating
Obamacare.
working class Americans.
Let's
None
call
of
it
that
what
is
it is,
acceptable.
Obamacare.
We need to find a viable path forward.
It's called
But Leader
Obamacare.
Jeffries, for the people who are suffering right now and who are quite frankly concerned about how they are going to put food on the table over this holiday season, how long can they expect this shutdown to continue? Can you guarantee that you will reopen the government before Thanksgiving?
No.
We need to resolve this immediately.
Yes.
And here are two things.
But you won't.
You
that
think
can be
it'll happen
done
before
to get that
Thanksgiving, Leader?
accomplished.
You think it'll happen before Thanksgiving?
Well, one, Donald Trump, I hope so. Donald Trump needs to get off the golf course and get back to the negotiating table. He spent more time golfing over the last several weeks than he has talking to Democrats who represent half the country as part of an effort to find a bipartisan path forward. And by the way, we also know that House Republicans have literally canceled votes for the last 6 weeks. They've been on vacation.
They voted
and
14
they have no
times.
plans to return next week. We'll be in Washington as House Democrats.
They voted
ready,
14
willing,
times.
and
Hakeem,
able to reopen the
Hakeem.
government, to make life better for the American people, and to address the health care crisis that has been devastating the country.
Leader Jeffries, President Trump floated what he believes is a potential solution to this online. Let me read it to you. He says, quote, recommending to Senate Republicans that the hundreds of billions of dollars currently being sent to money-sucking insurance companies in order to save the bad health care provided by Obamacare be sent directly to the people so that they can purchase their own much better health care. Would you ever support giving subsidies directly to the American people instead of Obamacare?
Well, we have a broken health care system, but the Affordable Care Act has been part of actually providing health insurance to tens of millions of Americans. Of course, there's always opportunity to improve current policy that exists. But Republicans aren't operating in
no, he doesn't want to give
as it relates
your
to
money
doing anything to actually make health care more affordable. And we've seen that repeatedly over the last several weeks.
He wants to blame.
Now, if Donald Trump is changing his tune and is actually willing to sit down and negotiate a bipartisan path forward, of course we are interested in doing that. We've been making that point for the last several weeks.
What do you make of that proposal online,
I don't think he answered the question.
Does it sound like he's interested in doing that?
I mean, it's hard to take these online things seriously. There's no actual legislation. There's no text. There's no policy
So the answer is no.
documents to be able to review.
We will not give you
if that
your money
exists,
back.
if that somehow materializes and manifests itself in the next day or so, we look forward to reviewing it in good faith.
All right, Leader Jeffries, let's turn now to Tuesday's election results. Democrats had a clean sweep, winning the New York City mayoral election, both gubernatorial races in New Jersey and Virginia, as you know, a ballot measure in California. You are on track to potentially become the next speaker if Democrats were to win back the House in 2026. How confident are you that that's going to happen?
Well, Democrats are definitely going to take back control of the House of Representatives, and we're going to stay focused on the issues that matter: lowering the high cost of living, fixing our broken healthcare system, and cleaning up corruption to actually deliver a country that works for working class Americans, for everyday Americans, and for middle class Americans. As Democrats, you know, we believe in a country that has a strong floor and no ceiling. If you work hard and play by the rules, there should be no ceiling to the success that you can accomplish.
Well, you always talking about
for
millionaires
yourself,
and
for your
billionaires,
family, for your children. At the same time, we also believe in a country that has a strong floor. That's Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, nutritional assistance. By the way, the things that Republicans are trying to devastate right now.
Leader Jeffries, what about the Senate?
Listen, I think that the results on Tuesday, which was so decisive in the states that you mentioned, but also in Georgia, in Mississippi, in Pennsylvania.
All right, hold on a minute. The Mississippi one. I'm from Mississippi. I live in Mississippi. The Democrats broke the Republicans' supermajority in the state of Mississippi. It's a fact. It happened. The reason is not stated as they're saying here. The reason the Democrats won in the state of Mississippi is because a judge made them redistrict so that the district was redrawn to favor minorities. That's the reason they won. It wasn't because they actually won. It was because a judge made them redistrict. The national news is not telling you that. The reason they won in Mississippi is because they had to redistrict.
Yeah, across the country, up and down the ballot, including in races that didn't get the same level of attention, shows that there's a real path, of course, to taking back control of the House of Representatives, where we're only 3 seats short right now. When we flipped the House in 2018, we were 24 seats short, but also a strong and viable path in the Senate, because the American people have had enough, and they want a government that actually puts them first, as opposed to what Republicans have been doing, prioritizing the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected.
2 quick questions, lightning round. Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani won big in New York City. He's just coming into City Hall, having made ambitious promises. Let's take a listen to what he said on election night.
Together, New York, we're going to freeze Together, New York, we're going to make buses fast and together, New York, we're going to deliver universal.
So frozen rent, free buses, universal child care. Do you believe that he can deliver on those promises very quickly, Leader Jeffries?
Well, he's going to have to work with the Rent Guidelines Board and probably more importantly with the governor of the state of New York and the state legislature in order to enact those proposals. But I do expect that the legislature, of course, and the governor are going to meet him in good faith, try to negotiate a path forward. But it's all centered around the notion of making New York City more affordable, which is, of course, what we have to do throughout America in a country that's far too expensive. This is the wealthiest country in the history of the world. It's unacceptable that far too many people are struggling to live paycheck to paycheck.
Leader Jeffries, quickly, before I let you go, Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi announcing she will not seek re-election if you do, in fact, become the next speaker. Will you model yourself after her?
Well, Nancy Pelosi is a legendary, heroic, historic, transformational figure.
She's legendary.
To just stand on her shoulders,
stock trader,
to serve with her, and to have the benefit of her guidance, her wisdom,
the greatest stock trader of all time, her husband.